See?
Great. That's great.
All right. Welcome to our podcast this Friday. Let's talk clutter. Beth, I'm so happy that you're here. I feel like I haven't caught up with you in so long.
It's been a while.
So, Beth, why are you here? How did you get here?
Do you want the short story or the long one?
No, we want the long one.
We want the long one. So it's good. I haven't seen you in a while, Jess. Of course, I get on this call and my dog now decides he wants attention. So if you hear
That's
back,
okay. This is how it goes.
don't worry about that. Yes, I guess like the backstories. I came across you during, I guess it was during like the pandemic, during COVID. You were offering online. It was, how could I forget? It was boot camp. You were offering a boot camp. And I reached out to my girlfriend and I was like, hey, there's a discount if we both do it together. Do you want to do the 5-day boot camp? Which during COVID was great because we weren't doing anything else but sitting inside trying to figure out what to do. Yes.
And in the beginning of COVID, so you're a real estate agent, right? And in the beginning of COVID, things were like really quiet.
Yes.
For
like my business went from everything shut down. Like because nobody, and that was like, you sort of forget, we didn't know what to do. Like there was no vaccine. There was no option of a vaccine. We didn't know about, like, people were talking about masks, but we were wearing bandanas. Like, yes. it was a strange time. And real estate, everything closed up immediately.
Real estate actually hasn't been the same since that time at all, right? Like it's been totally insane.
Yeah. Yes. But it was a good time. Unfortunately, like it was a great way to make use of that time was to I found you on a Facebook ad. And I read some of the comments and they actually seemed legit from real people. They weren't like, they didn't sound made up or,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, what do I have to lose to try this? And little did I know, how life-changing it would be. So that's how Jess and I met. And I mean, that was years ago. And I haven't.
It really was. At this point, it was years ago.
Oh, yeah. And I haven't been as active in the group. And it's interesting now, like if you came to my front door and you were like, where are they now? I'd be the one on the talk show that's like, yeah, there's some clutter. But it's funny because I knew, of course, we had this call coming up and I was thinking about like what's changed, like looking back on it. It's not like, I know I can take care of this confidently and I know I can get rid of things. I've just frankly been a little lazy. It's not because like you helped me work through the attachment that I thought I had to things. And like logically, like people would say, well, just get rid of it. Who cares? Well, it's not your stuff was your response. Or what if I need it? Or it was my great grandmother's but now I have all these tools on like how to approach that. And when I stop being lazy and start decluttering and maybe this is nice to touch base because I can get back into the 20-minute quick clean, which in a week would easily get rid of all of this.
Yeah, that's exactly like the goal is never actually to have a perfect house all the time. The goal is to have a house that's perfectly not overwhelming. Like you can pick it up in 20 minutes if you need to, and it's totally fine.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And it's good. It's great. Like, I think one of the biggest compliments I got during this whole challenge, because it's the little things, right? My daughter's older, but we still have the corny habit of hiding the Easter basket every Easter. And my husband usually does the hiding, because truth be told, I get a basket too. And he's like, I know.
I love this.
But he's like, Beth, you took away all the hiding spaces. Because we used to tuck it behind, we live in a small house we only have one closet on the first floor. It's an old home, not a lot of storage. And I didn't get rid of everything. I just got rid of the stuff I realized I didn't really care about, and put the other stuff away because there was now room to put things away. But there was no place to hide the Easter basket because there was nothing out and about. I'm like, this is the best compliment ever. Like, yeah. So it's the little things where you really notice.
How many square feet? You live in a town or
so people would know it as a townhouse. That's
right.
In the city, they're called row homes because they're all connected and they line up in rows. It's about above grade is 950 square feet. And then downstairs, there's a basement that is the footprint of the first floor, but part of that's like mechanicals and washer and
Mhm.
dryer and
Mhm.
things like that. We have one finished space in the basement, and then the rest is mechanicals and storage, which is nice. We do have the storage, um, but
But
yeah,
still, that's a
so,
pretty small home for 3. Well,
yeah. For we're now pretty
three
much three
people.
adults. Although,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, yeah. But it's funny too because you forget what you have. And then when I realized that I forgot what I had, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what I have, or I'd be cleaning things out. Like a good place for me to start when I want to like get back in the mood is I go in the bathroom because I tend to buy like the toothpaste tube that just never got thrown away or stuff like I
There's
use
always another like millimeter of toothpaste that you
yes,
get out of there. Like
yes,
one
yes.
100th of an ounce will
But
come out if you just squeeze it the right way.
I was that person. Like I was totally that person. And I'm not wasteful now, but it's like a light switch flipped. Like if you just, and I'm sure there's a psychology behind it. Like that's not my jam at all, but like there's definitely something to be said for like taking the action, but in very slow, manageable steps. Like I can throw a toothpaste tube away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like I still have a huge, crazy heavy box of greeting cards I've gotten over the years. Like I still have stuff I haven't gotten to, but I can throw toothpaste tubes away. Like it's definitely a process. Um, but it's such a relief. Like it's not hard anymore. And like I'm not stressed about it anymore. And even though I still have that box of cards and other things, I'll get there. Like it's the almost like the self-confidence of like, I'll get to it. And like maybe I'm just not ready to do the cards yet. And like that's okay.
Yeah.
But I can do the bathroom, or I can do the trash. I can at least look through like the dining room table's in pretty good shape right now, but this is one of our big drop zones. So I'll look at that and I'll be like, okay, what on this table can I throw away? Like, what do I know? And it's like the momentum. I just have to get myself started.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
you guys taught me that. Yes. Mhm.
Just start.
Yes. Yeah. And like, don't overthink it. Like, I would be like, oh, what if I'm going to use this screw someday? You know? And like
The
some
good
people
news
sort of,
is everything you buy comes with its own set of screws now. So,
I know.
and Allen
Oh,
wrenches. How many Allen wrenches does one household possibly need?
yes. Yes. Because you have so much stuff that you don't put them away. And then when you get rid of the stuff you don't actually need, you can put them away and you know where they are. So when you
Yep.
go get one, you realize you don't actually have to go buy one on Amazon because you already have three, Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Um,
I love what you're really describing is decluttering is a skill set and it's one that we didn't learn as children. And
yes.
that's just what we teach this skill set. It's a little mindset shift also, but skill set
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, way back, and maybe because I've not been as involved as I could be, but it was with the boot camp. I remember when we started, because the first day was like, okay, tonight you're going to get rid of 10 things. Tomorrow night, you're going to get rid of 20 things. The next night, you're going to get rid of 30, up to 50 items on the last day. And initially, I was like, oh, 10 items. Like it totally freaked me out. But I'm like, one item, like this is on its way to the trash, can be this. Like you don't have to start with, the emotional landmines, as I learned to call them, like the big, heavy decisions. It's okay to put those, like you would compare it to like running a marathon. We're not going to just go out there and run a marathon without at least walking or trying to run first.
I'm not going to run a marathon
Me
anyway.
neither. Yes, me neither. Or like if you think of it, like you can relate it to anything right? Like, and that's what I loved about it. Like, if you have kids, you wouldn't expect a 5-year-old to be able to sit down and do fourth grade math. Like that's ridiculous. And like whatever it is that you can relate to in life, it like definitely applies. Like you just have to kind of give yourself the grace to start small and make like small achievable goals, because that's what got me much farther along.
Absolutely. I think, we come into this thinking we should know how to do it, right? Like, why don't I know how to do this? But when you break it down, there's a lot of reasons why we don't know how to do this. And it was just, I mean, basically, we never had to get rid of stuff like this
Right.
before.
and there's a guilt to it too. Like if somebody were to stop by, I remember being like, oh. So like the way I started was I would at least, like our house, they call it shotgun. That's the other thing too. So there are no rooms that are left and right of each other. So you walk in the front door, it's a living room. I'm in the dining room. Then it's the kitchen and the back porch. So it's a straight shot.
Straight through.
Straight
Yep.
shot. So, but I do have some separation between the dining room and the living room. So I started like, okay, I'm going to start with the living room and just keep it like picked up and clean. And it was nice. So if somebody would stop by, there was at least one room they could come into. And it was like, it was self-motivating because you'd look at that room and then you'd be like, okay, like I'm not going to do this whole room today, but I can do that chair in the corner, which I'm looking at legit. I'm not making this up. I've got a small donation bag and a pair of slippers that my daughter got from her grandmother for Christmas that she doesn't like and doesn't want to hurt the grandmother's feelings. We can't return them. So they're still in their box. So they are probably going to get donated.
Right. And somebody else will like them and love them.
Yes.
And it's not about the slippers. It's about the love that a grandmother has for her grandchild.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And now it's been here long enough that we no longer feel guilty about it because it's
staring at it for so long that the guilt is gone.
But that's one thing we started too. We just take like a generic paper bag with handles on it, like a shopping bag. I'm just checking the dog, sorry. And that's like the drop zone for stuff you don't want anymore. So if you're like, it's only my daughter, my husband and I, but if you have a shirt that doesn't fit or you know what I mean? It goes in the bag. And then when the bag is full, I take it in my car and I run it down to the thrift store. An old me used to try to sell it on Facebook. I did a lot of that, like Facebook Marketplace. And that was good. Like that was a good way to start, I think, for me. Like you have to find
entry point. Yeah.
And like what speaks to me doesn't necessarily speak to other people. But I think through talking about it kind of helps you figure out like what your entry point is. So for me, I would sell $10 boxes on, like if I priced them at 15, they wouldn't sell. But I'd take pictures of everything, what it was. I'd fold them really neatly or put them together nicely. And it was on the honor system. I put them on my front porch and the person was to leave $10 in my mailbox.
I love, this is brilliant, Beth. I never heard about this before.
Oh yeah, that's how I started. That's how I started. So and some people don't like people coming to their home. Like, so you got to find your thing. Like, so for me, we're in the city, but we're in a neighborhood. I know all my neighbors. It's just not a worry for me. Like the worst comes to worst, I'm going to have somebody lingering on my front porch. I'd call the police and they'd go away. Like that's the biggest, do you know what I mean? My door locks, my windows lock. That was not a concern for me, but I totally understand people who aren't comfortable with that.
Well, and I think also, where you live really does make a difference in how you declutter. Some people don't have a thrift store. Some people don't have that easy access to like the Facebook Marketplace where, you have a lot of people who are, but you do. And so that's awesome because you can use those resources really easily.
And that's, I think, like a great point is like, so maybe if you live in a more rural area, maybe there's a church that could use these things. Maybe there's one of those big drop boxes that they have like in the grocery store parking lots.
Oh yeah, I have those all over my rural area.
Yeah. So when you just have to find, that's a good way to put it. Like you have to find your entry point. And the nice thing is though, like after I did the $10 boxes, I was like, this is nice. It made me some, which was great. I mean, money is money. Let's face it. If I found a $10 bill on the ground, I'd pick it up for sure. Yeah. Right? I wouldn't walk by it. However, what I also learned through the classes and through talking with you and all the other coaches, like, is it worth my time? Because it did take time because sometimes people wouldn't show up or they'd want me to deliver it or they'd like, I just need you to come get it and leave $10.
I mean, like, listen, for $10, we're not delivering anything.
Yes. Once in a blue moon, if there was a story because I'm a sucker, I'd deliver it, but I got to the point where like the thrift store does sell it. It's not a consignment. I don't get a portion of it. But like I've shopped in that thrift store. Like I feel like it's a big communal play. And like some of my favorite t-shirts are from the thrift store. Like I don't buy it but I'm in a good place now. Like you do have to be careful with thrift stores because you can certainly overbuy because things are more reasonably priced. And that's again about like you have to there's something out there for everybody. We just have to find it. And I think talking through it with people that understand who aren't judgmental Um, it helps, and it even applies. I'm sorry, I haven't had coffee yet. Even can you? I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, no, this is fantastic. I love it.
So I have not been. This is like just it applies to everything in life. That's the point I'm going to work back to. I haven't been exercising, and I feel better when I exercise. I'm healthier when I exercise. Like I'm mentally better when I exercise. So I'm like, okay, let me look up there's a location I go to that I really enjoy. Let me look up their schedule. I'm like, because their schedule did change. So in my little head, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going as much because their schedule changed. True. So I'm like, let me look it up. So I look it up and I'm like, oh, look, there's a class today. And I'm like, oh, I could make that. But I have this call, which is well worth it with Jen. No, I could still make it after this call. Don't get me wrong. So I'm like, okay, like that's reasonable though. Like, cause I have work to do. I get it. Okay. So I'm like, what's the next day? Sunday morning. Wouldn't that be lovely? It's Mother's Day. I could treat myself. But I'm like, oh, it's Mother's Day. I might want to sleep in. I'm like, for goodness sakes, Beth. Like, it's the same thing with clutter though. It's all the same answer. Like, you just have to start somewhere, and it might be a little uncomfortable or inconvenient at first, but is it really, or is it just our little brains telling us like why that happens? That's a psychological thing, but like, are we just making excuses because we're afraid of failure, because we're tired, whatever it is? But darn it, I'm going on Sunday morning,
Beth, it's a gift to yourself, but it is, our brain is just optimized to keep us in a spot that feels comfortable. And whatever you're doing over and over again becomes your comfort zone.
Even
So
if it's healthy, even if that's the crazy part though, right? Even if it's, yeah.
Yes. Even if you don't want it, if you actively want something different, it is still your comfort zone wherever you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
True.
nuts.
I know it is nuts. But that's what, like, going through all these classes and sitting on these calls has helped me with. That's why when you're like, do you want to do a call on Friday? I'm like, yes, I do. I do. Yeah. Because it's amazing. Like, if there's anybody, is this terrible? Is this CBA? Where are we?
We're everywhere. We're all over.
Oh, so wait, this isn't limited just to CBA?
No, it's all
okay. Okay. So what I'm asking, for those who don't know, CBA was like a more intensive program that, as Jess knows, I hummed and hawed forever about.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that, but it was like months and months.
Oh yeah.
Where Beth and I would be back and forth.
Again, right.
Is this a good time? I don't know.
Right. Because it was it's a commitment, right? And we create, for whatever reason, we create roadblocks for ourselves. Not to minimize like legit roadblocks. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, people definitely,
we do. Yeah.
We definitely all have significant challenges. I'm not making light of those, but we can still, I guess my point is, we can still absolutely work within those challenges. 100% work within challenges. Like, I used to start with like, okay, I'm just going to clean off that chair today. And then I would look at the chair and I'm like, every time I walk by, I'm like, oh, glad there's not all that crap piled up on the chair. And then the trick is, of course, not to take the stuff and put it somewhere else.
Right. Don't shuffle your clutter around. Declutter it.
Yeah. But and that's okay. If it took me 20 minutes to clear off one chair, that's because what happened when I started is I'd be making little clean spots throughout the house. So at first the whole thing was cluttered, and then there'd be little clean spots, and 20 minutes a day. That's all 20 minutes a day. And then eventually the clean spots got bigger. And then eventually they became like bigger and bigger areas. And then the next thing you knew, the whole room was almost done. Like, it's crazy.
So Babette is wondering, did you just put the items in a box? Like
no.
The $10 items, or I'm not really sure actually which one Babette is asking about. Tell us about all of your items and boxes.
Oh, wait, is it chat? Can I see chat?
I don't know. Can you?
No. Can you still see me though? Because sorry, hang on. Let me get out comments. Oh, there's comments.
Can you? Yeah, comments. There you go.
Okay.
Babette, are you asking about the $10 boxes that Beth put together, or just in general how she decluttered everything? Sorry, now my dog is barking outside.
No, I can answer both of those. So the $10 boxes were like stuff we didn't want, like clothes And it's funny what you do too. You're like, oh, I love this t-shirt. It's got a little hole. Nobody wants a t-shirt with a hole. That is a dust rag or trash. Like I would do that initially. And I'm sure the people got the t-shirt with the hole, but like, that's how you progress. Also, I would just take stuff like, I need to do it now. I have shoes in my closet that I just haven't worn. Like somebody else could be wearing them. So it might be shoes. It might be, sometimes I try to cluster like items. And I take a picture of everything, put it in the box, make it nice and neat, and whatever box you want. I always try to make it look good. Just, it matters. Presentation
like a gift, right?
matters. Yeah. I mean, I didn't wrap it, but yes, but presentation for sure. So yeah, so sometimes I group like items. Like my daughter's clothes when she was younger, or my shoes, or, you know, I have a bad habit of buying jeans and deciding they're too hot or too scratchy. So why am I not wearing them?
I hate wearing jeans.
They're called hard clothes now. That's what I call them since the pandemic, because I live in like sweatpants. I know it's bad, but anyway, so I group like items and make them look good. Like don't do some like ratty old wrinkled shirt. Nobody wants that. But that's
Beth says she has a bunch of Webkins. Are Webkins like little stuffed? I'm actually
oh, they're like little yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, $10 boxes, Babette.
Yeah. And then if she was actually asking about like decluttering the corner, do I put the stuff in a box? No, don't do that, because then what ends up happening is you have a clean corner, but you've got a box laying somewhere else.
Right.
You kind of have to force yourself. And if the chair's too much, then be like, okay, I'm just going to do the trash. I'm just going to do these 3 items. I would do that with like, you know, here's a hair tie and a like slime right on my table. My daughter is almost 18 and we have slime. So yeah, this is probably going in the trash, but
I heard that slime is coming back around to popularity for teenagers.
It does smell good. But that's what you do, right? You're like, oh, it smells good. Yes. So it's Galaxy slime. I'm going to put that in the donation box because nobody really wants that. You know what I mean? But maybe they'd sell it at the thrift store with, you know, they have like 50-cent bags at the thrift store. Anyway.
Beth, I'm curious, as a realtor, how do you find that clutter impacts your job?
Oh, do you mean, okay, like it's somebody else's clutter or my clutter?
Well, I guess both, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, your clutter, right? As a realtor, you're in charge of your own schedule, so that's a whole complicated thing in and of itself, and clutter can totally impact that. But then you're also in people's homes, and I'm sure that you're counseling them on clutter.
Yep. So, and it's funny, you have to be careful because you don't want to, I don't want people to feel embarrassed, and I don't want people to feel ashamed. However, like the real estate agent in me is going, there's no way this can, you know. And I know that, and there's no way now, like if I was selling my house, it's not ready.
Right.
But it definitely impacts the ability to sell the property for sure. What I usually tell people, that I feel like is a very I hope is a non-judgmental suggestion, is I say, like, do your best to make it look like a magazine. It doesn't have to be a fancy magazine. It doesn't have to be, it just has to be like whatever your, you know, if your thing is shabby chic, great. If your thing is farmhouse, great. If it's modern, that's fine too. If it's all the great furniture I got from the thrift store, that's great too. But make it like someone's going to come in and they're going to do an interview with you about like, look at all this great stuff, all this great furniture you got from the thrift store. We're going to interview you and we're going to take pictures of all of it. Like keep that in your mind when you're getting ready. Because what I do is then is I send in a professional photographer. And you can't put those pictures online because everybody looks online before they buy a house these days.
Yep.
You can't nobody will come. You won't get appointments, no matter how well it's priced. That's the other thing too. Like you're going to get more for your property. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to have, I mean, certainly there are areas where that's important, but you can improve the value of your property by simply decluttering and cleaning.
Yeah, absolutely. I read a statistic that decluttering your property is the #1 thing that you can do to increase the value of your home when you go to sell it.
Yes.
Like the biggest return on your investment, because the investment is basically your time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Which, And that's kind of a nice thing, because I remember you always used to say, like, as far as dealing with our clutter, just to be aware of how much time we're spending on it, because you can always make more money, but we can't always make more time, which is absolutely true. Yet money, I mean, like, is definitely a challenge for sure. But that's a great, almost like free way to improve the value of your property. And in improving the value of your property, you're also in the process, like, I promise you, you're going to start to feel better.
Yeah,
Like, you just
absolutely.
feel better. Sometimes we come into a house and we're like, oh, I like my Nana's Afghan, and I like those pillows that I've had for 20 years on the couch, and aren't they? Because it's like a cozy feeling, because it's our stuff.
Mhm.
But when someone else goes into your house, they don't want the 20-year-old pillow that's like never been washed. Like, because we don't think of that, right? Like,
Right.
yeah. And I'm not saying go throw out all your stuff. That's not what I mean. But like, try, I guess I'm encouraging people to look at it with maybe a slightly different eye. That's what helped me. Or I take pictures with my phone. I love before and after pictures of other people's and my stuff. So I'd like, I can do it when we hang up. Like, I have a picture over here that of stuff I should attend to. Um, and in looking at it, like, I'll clear away, let's say 4 items, and I think I'm done. And I look back at the photo and I'm like, well, wait, there's still a basketball in the corner. That could go out in the back porch where the basketball hoop is, you know. There's
Yeah,
paper.
like, when you, like, put it in a frame, it makes a big difference.
I think it helps me remove myself. It almost is like you're looking at it from a different, you are looking at it from a different perspective, right? You're not live looking at it. You're looking at a picture of it. But it like, it used to happen with my daughter. I'd take a picture of her, like, and I'd be like, what's that scuff on the wall? I've never noticed that. Big, like, she went through a phase where she was learning how to do handstands. So she'd kick up on the wall, footprint on the wall. Like, ew, nobody wants
Which you do see those a lot more in pictures than you do, because 'cause they're just part of your landscape, you don't even.
yes. And like, truth be told, it's kind of cute, but like, no. I mean, um,
So the
yeah, so
bottom line is, and take it from a realtor, if you declutter, you're gonna get more money for your house, you're gonna get more people looking at your house, and really, I mean, we're talking like like clean surfaces, right?
yes,
Floors, like,
yes.
that really is the key, I think, for like, how do you do that when you're selling your house?
I had one young guy, sweetest guy, and everything worked out fine. But I told him this story, like this whole, like, make it look like a magazine. And I went in and he did a great job. It looked really good. And it's like, something was, there would have, like, I went to get a paper towel or something, because I don't know what I needed. There was maybe like a dead bug that I was like, ooh, I don't want that on the ground when somebody comes to see the house. Do you know what I mean? So I looked for a paper towel under the sink. He had taken everything on the counter and shoved it under the sink. And I'm like, oh, no, no. Oh, okay. Like, I wasn't, because people will open that to be like, oh, let's see how much storage is under the sink.
Yep.
And if it looks like that, they're going to automatically think this house has no storage. This house,
I had,
that's,
a friend who actually had, like, cameras in their house, and they would review people looking at their house, which I think a lot of people do this, right? But they were like, "This is great feedback. Now we know, like, if somebody opened up a cabinet and said, 'Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff,' then we would go home and declutter that cabinet, so, like, the next time." This is before COVID, when houses were taking a longer time to
yeah,
sell,
yeah.
right?
You have to
But,
have thick skin for that, though, too. Some people get, and legally, I can throw that out there. Like, I'm in Maryland. Maryland's a two-party consent state. So you'd have to technically, if you're going to get audio, you have to let each individual know that they are visually and auditorily being recorded.
very interesting. So
Yeah.
check your laws.
So you don't get arrested. Yes.
Right, because it might not be legal to do that. Although, in know also that as somebody looking at homes, a lot of people do record what's going on while they have.
Visual. So like, in most states, like, visual recording is fine. It's just the auditory that's the problem.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
A law enforcement. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Um, but what else?
So Beth, question for you. We're getting towards the end. We usually stick to around a half an hour. So
Okay.
the big question that I always ask at the end is, if somebody is stuck or just getting started, what's your best advice to them?
Just start somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Start with the easiest thing possible. So like for me, it was the bathroom. Start with the trash. Do you have trash like laying about? Do you have like I've got some recycling bags. I'm looking at them right now. I probably have 20. We just use them from the grocery store. We're not going to use 20. It's time to recycle some of them. Like, and yes, they're perfectly good bags with usable handles. I'm going to recycle them. Like, people, we tend to place value on things because we feel a certain connection with them, but there technically is not really a lot of value to other people. So
yes, our stuff is more valuable to us.
Yeah, but start with the easy stuff. Start with the slime. Start with the whatever this is, a receipt from something I returned that I've already gotten confirmation it's been accepted. Oh, return your stuff. That's a good one. Because I was guilty of that. Stuff from Amazon that you let lay around too long. Yeah, return your stuff and start easy.
Now Amazon has like restructured how they do returns in our area because we have like a fulfillment center really close. So I used to be able just to leave it off for the UPS guy and he would take it, but now the Amazon people don't actually take it. So I have to go to a UPS store and return. So it actually makes me buy a lot less because I returned a lot of stuff before and because it was so easy. And now it's not as easy.
Our UPS guys are so busy, they would never do that because they're so busy delivering. I take it to the UPS, but I have one I can walk to. So it's different. But yes, you got to find your channel. Yeah.
Yeah, find your entry point, right? It's different for everyone. Our UPS people used to just take packages and packages back from me and not anymore. So
nope.
Better to buy less to begin with though.
And see if you have it before you buy it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Beth, if you saw that we have a 90-day Clutter Boss challenge going on. And part of it is no unnecessary purchasing for 90 days. And so I'm doing the challenge right alongside whoever else has signed up for it. And
I love those. I love those challenges. They were just talking about the camaraderie of the group. I loved those. And and like there's a good tip too. Like, I don't know where you're listening to us from, but like if you have a girlfriend or a friend who wants to be on board with this, be like, hey, like talk about it. Let's get rid of 5 things today. What 5 things did you get rid of? Or like, you have a crazy busy schedule. You don't have time to do 3 things. Like, yes, but do 3 things a day for a week and like notice them, or put a set of box aside and like, these are the 3. And then at the end of the week, get rid of the box, but like have a plan.
There's a question. Is it too late to join that challenge? No, you can start anytime. It's gonna this challenge is out there. It's a 90-day challenge. You can start now. You can start in a week.
When did it start?
So it went live on Monday. So everyone who had signed up like started on Monday, but there are people who are still signing up and starting now. And really the idea is to start anytime. Is it
a Facebook group? Where is it?
So it is a Facebook group. Oh, Beth, I'm so excited to tell you about this challenge.
I'm like, I just got a message. Was that it? No, it wasn't.
It's a Facebook group. So basically it's a 90-day challenge broken into 3 phases. So the first phase is really to establish getting your dishes and laundry done and manageable every day, plus decluttering 20 items a day, which has been interesting to see, like literally getting 20 items out every single day. I'm not going to talk about what's that? It's a lot.
Challenge. Like that
it's supposed to be a challenge. That's the whole thing. Yeah. And then you have to post into the group every day for accountability because it's so important to have that, that daily accountability. And you have to spend 20 minutes planning and prepping for your day tomorrow every night. So that's, or I guess it doesn't have to necessarily be at night, but you have to plan and prep for your day tomorrow. Right. 5 minutes of breathing, intentional breathing every day, which I do while I'm driving. Because it doesn't put me to sleep, but I know for a lot of people, if it makes you sleepy, don't do it when you're driving. Right. And then, no unnecessary purchases for the entire 3 phases. Okay. So it's been, there's so many people doing it, and it's been so we're on day 5 now. It's already been really powerful.
Good.
So it's the whole idea of radical responsibility for your actions. I am no more excuses. And if you fail on any of the things, you go back to day 1. But
I love it.
With feedback, okay, this didn't work, so I'm going to try again.
But you know what? Even if you keep doing Groundhog Day, if you keep doing day 1 over and over and over again, at least you're doing something.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like at least so if you do, let's say you do day 1 for 90 days, you still got rid of a ton of stuff.
100%. And you still worked on your dishes, worked on your laundry, like did your breathing, did some planning and prepping. Maybe you didn't do everything, but you still, yes, it's all progress, 100%.
How do we find it? Can you put it in the comments after this?
Sure. So it's, if you go to my website, jessmarcy.com, it's /clutterboss-challenge. It's all over my social media also. And then there's a few questions in here. It's $90 to do it. So it's $1 a day. But if you're in any of our programs, you get a discount. So if you're in a program and you don't know what your discount is, it's 25% for CBA and CBB and 10% for PYS. Just post into your group and we'll make sure you have the coupon code. But it's it's been so fun. And it's, it's just this whole idea of like, it's exactly what you're talking about, Beth. Like, no more excuses. Don't let your brain talk you out of the little things that you can do every day to make a huge difference.
Yeah. And the nice thing too about like, there is no failing, like, especially with your groups, because and it's okay, then I'll stop talking. I promise. Like I remember when I first started with you.
There is no failing. This is true. It's feedback.
There was one person that was like super judgmental. I don't remember what her name, it doesn't matter what her name was. She's gone. Like I never heard from her again. And there's none of that. Like, I don't know that I've ever been in a group where there is like a true zero tolerance enforced policy for like positive vibes only. Like if you're going to be judgmental, don't put it here because you're going to be out of the group.
Yeah.
Like it's great.
And the culture of the group is so strong around that there's like almost no policing that I have to do. I mean, I think maybe in the last 4 years, I've removed a few people from our free Facebook groups, and that's it. Like, it's really, the culture is so strong.
I just feel like that's such a good thing to remind. Just like if anybody's on the fence or you're not sure or you're feeling vulnerable, because I felt all those things, like it's definitely a good place to go.
It definitely is. There's a lot of positive comments about the challenge.
Okay, maybe
you should join. It would be.
I'm going to do it. And I'm out of town, but I don't care, so I'll keep doing.
So you can actually, if you go on vacation, you press pause on the challenge. Because for 90 days, of course, you're going to be out of town for some of those 90 days. So the way that it works is you basically hit pause, and then you have to commit to rejoining within 15 hours of returning from vacation.
Okay, there you go.
Right. So
I'm in.
Yes.
Who's gonna do it with me? I'll do it because it's been a while since I've done anything. And that's the thing too with this group that's so awesome. Like I've learned so much. This is like a lifelong lifestyle kind of thing. It isn't like a stuff diet. It's change. But the challenges are so fun. And like challenge is a strong word because it's not like there's a winner and a loser. Like it's not like that.
It's you be you. I mean, like
they're just fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you getting like to a more improved version of yourself.
Yes.
Like if that's your goal, right? Like that's
but let's face it, otherwise decluttering, like it's still hard and it still kind of can suck. Like it can, but it's nice to have people that like encourage you and inspire you. And and you wouldn't think over like online it would be as powerful, but it really is.
It's more powerful, I think, because you have that community.
Yeah, true.
It's hard I've been trying to figure out how to build that community like in a local sense. And I mean, I think I could host like weekly meetups, like kind of clutter support group type things, but it's just the online, we'll just go longer today.
Maybe the availability of people, like, because it's somebody's always on. And it's like anonymous yet also extremely personal. Yes, because like I don't necessarily, so like I'm a realtor in the community where I live. I don't need all my clients and neighbors to know that I've got shit, piled up to the, you know what I mean? Like that's not a professional look I want. But yet I've made friends within these groups and I've invited friends who I think would be receptive into these groups. And it's fabulous. So like, to the point, it's absolutely like you can be yourself, but there's still a lot of privacy around it. And people honor one another's respect, like privacy, desire. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I have a lot of problems with the Facebook platform. It's not optimized for anything except for like Facebook, which makes sense. It's a business. They have every right to like run their business how they want to run their business. But I do think that when it comes to communities, the Facebook platform is the best platform for communities. It works really well for that one particular aspect.
I agree, because you have files, you can do photos, you can set what parameters you want. But I love seeing, like, again, the before and after pictures. I find so inspirational, and it's so nice to be like genuinely happy for someone that
Yes.
that you've learned their struggle. They've got family issues or money issues or both or health issues, and yet they're still achieving, and it's like it's so powerful.
You feel so excited for them.
Yes.
It motivates you.
It totally does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. All right.
I'm off my soapbox.
Beth, I have loved catching up with you. I feel I have missed you. I have not seen you in like 2 years.
Has it been that long?
Well, I mean, in person. I haven't seen you in person in
Yes,
2
that's
years,
true.
I think.
That's true.
Or at least a year and a half.
Yes.
But it's so nice to catch up with you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you for
you
being
for
a
reaching
podcast
out.
guest.
Yeah.
If there's
Well, see
anybody listening who wants to be on the podcast, let me know. I have plenty of open spots, and it's just a casual conversation. It's fun.
So on StreamYard, can you put the link to the challenge here or no?
I cannot type into the comments, but wait, hold on. Yes,
Like,
I can. This is
oh,
new. You used to not be able to.
and we can all we could screenshot it, because like me,
Well,
I have everything on my table except a pen and paper.
I can go back and put the link also, but yeah, there it is. I put it in there now.
Oh, good.
So it's just, Clutter Boss Dash Challenge. I also bought the URL, but I haven't, I like came up with this challenge very quickly because I'm doing 75 hard. And so do you know what 75 hard is, Beth?
I know that as an exercise thing.
It's basically a challenge. It's supposed to be like a mental.
You like take cold showers and all that?
I'm not on that phase.
Sorry, that might be what's coming.
That is, if you choose to go to the next phase, you do have to take cold showers, which I don't know about that, but I do enjoy a good cold shower for like 1 minute, but it's a 5-minute cold shower. That's like a really long time. But anyway, it's a mental toughness challenge, and the whole idea is that you like set yourself up for like you do all these things every day, and there's no excuses. Like you do it, period. And it's a lot. It's very timely. It's 2 45-minute long workouts. So I've been walking twice a day. You stick to a diet of your choice. You drink a gallon of water. You have to take a picture every day, which, anyway.
I thought about doing it, but I made too many excuses.
Yeah, no. And so one of my neighbors invited me to do it with them. And I was like, okay, I'm in this, like this year of like a lot of personal growth. I'm like, and I really need to get out of my own way. Like I have been giving myself a lot of, I say, if you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Right. So there's been like a lot of gray area, like in my life in general, always. And I just decided I'm not this for 75 days. And there's no alcohol. So I basically have not had a drink since the beginning of the year, because I did a whole other note, which is awesome.
It's the season of Jess.
It is. Yes. It is. But so I'm doing this with a bunch of the other coaches, and it just clicked. Like this would be very translatable to our clutter community, because people have always said to me, can you just tell me exactly what to do? And I'm like, I thought I was telling people exactly what to do, but not in this way. And I needed to learn this for myself first before I could actually put it out there. Right. So this is, no excuses, radical responsibility. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be consistent. And so it's a different type of challenge than I've ever done.
I'm so excited for my day now.
Yes. All right. Okay. So that's
I just want to say hi to Patty really quick. I didn't realize to see the comments. Hello, Patty. I love you.
Yes. Yeah. Patty's in the challenge. Yeah. It's been awesome so far. So dive in.
All right.
It's a good Beth challenge for sure.
Cool.
Yay. Okay. Beth, amazing talking to you. Amazing seeing you.
Nice to see you too. Always good. Always good.
Thank you for being a guest.
Yes. Anytime.
And have a great weekend and enjoy your workout on Mother's Day.
Yes. Thank you.
Accountability.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much, Jess.
Oh, you're so welcome.
For everything. Truly, though. Like we're being all, truly, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.